Thanks for stopping by at Twisted Art Designs. It's time for another layout in the Julie Nutting Paper Doll Altered book. So we've got lots of fun things, pockets and doors and windows. So let's see what we can come up with next. The last one was the fairy page. And now I've got another idea, of course. So what I've done is removed a bunch of pages. I wanted a pretty good space in here. And so this is kind of a little thick area here in the gutter of the book, and I'm going to cover that up probably with some silk ribbon, or you can cover it up with different kinds of fabric, all different things, or you can use Tyvek tape, all kinds of things in the gutter if you want to cover up that rough area. But the reason I did that is because I'm going to have something kind of thick in this page. So I'm using the back side of this last one as my base for that side. I put together pages on this side. And this time I put together, I think 4 or 5, because I want this pretty solid. The paper dolls, the Julie Nutting paper doll stamps that I'm going to use are Haley and Madeline. So those are the 2 that I'm going to use. And then I made another separate set. So these are pages that I had removed from the book, and then I put them together and let them dry, so I have another nice thick set right here. And it's still a little damp, so I'm going to let it dry a little bit more, but that's going to get used on this as well. So what I'm going to do is to lay this into the book, and I'm going to take a pencil, and I'm going to make the shape, just pencil in the shape of a heart. So just like this, I'm going to come around just like that. Okay, so see if you can see that. See if it's the half shape of a heart, and I'm going to cut that out. And then I'm going to do some stuff on the background, but first I'm going to show you how I'm going to decorate my girls. So let's get started and have some fun. So for Haley, I'm going to use this really pretty heart scrapbook paper for her dress, since it's kind of a hearts theme that I'm going with on this page. And I'm going to probably double stamp it and stamp this again on white to make a little white ruffle underneath. I might do some lace underneath that. I'm going to use my Ranger Dilutions journaling block for my stamp platform. Prima does sell a platform for these Julie Nutting dolls, and it's got a handle on it, but it's like $25. It's really expensive. So I already have this journaling block that I use all the time by Dilutions and Ranger Dilutions, and it works really well for these Julie Nutting dolls to just adhere the cling and use this as your stamp block. So that's what I'm going to use for that. I'm going to use this color for her hair, this for stamping the full body to build up on, and before I cut her out, I like to take some Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2 in Flesh and Salmon Pink. And then I just kind of use a water brush, tipping it off the crayon, and then just add some more skin tone color to add some dimension. And then I'm going to go in with a colored pencil and add some shading on her body too. And then I'm going to trim her out and start layering her. For the hair, I stamped it using coffee colored archival ink, and then I used these 3 things to add some detail to the hair, so it made it look a little more fun and realistic and not so flat. I used an Ecoline brush pen in deep ochre as just the base colors. I used a fine liner pen to draw some hair strokes, and then I used a Posca colored pencil to add some highlights, and that just makes the hair look a little more fun and interesting. So here's how she's starting to look. I did add some sleeves to her dress. I just drew some little cute peplum sleeves to her dress because I think this is supposed to be jammies in that kit. And then I made this look like shoes instead of little slippers. And I did bend that piece when I glued it on to give it some dimension too. So she's starting to come together, but I'm going to add more layers to her dress down here and a few more things, and I'll show you that when I get her put on the page. What I did to make her dress longer was to just stamp the bottom part of her dress on that same pattern paper twice, and stamped the ruffle part. I used a gray ink for that, and I stamped it twice. Then I used a little punch to make it little eyelets in it with little punches, and then just layered it one on top of the other, and then that makes her have a longer dress. Instead of it looking like a nightgown, it's got sleeves and layers, and I just think that turned out so cute. So I just wanted to show that as a fun idea of just one more different way of using that stamp to create a different doll, so that you can, you know, that's the fun thing about these Julie Nutting stamps. You can do them in so many different ways that you can use that same stamp over and over again, and your dolls will never come out the same if you just play and adjust some things. So just want to show that cute idea. And I'm not done decorating her, but I'm going to move on and keep working on this layout. So the next thing I'm going to do is to put here's my heart piece that I cut out. I'm going to lay it down on this page, and I'm going to just take a Sharpie, because it's permanent, it'll be easy to see, and I'm going to trace around this heart. So now I've got the heart shape on the page, and now I'm going to do a background. So instead of showing you how, since I've shown you in other videos, and you can do your background any way you want, I'm going to use some collage, some bits of paper, some rolled on brayer gesso, some sponged on paint, all kinds of stuff to fill this background. I am going to put something over my gutter. I'm going to do that same background in the back here. The heart part of it is going to get done in a different way, and I'll explain that as I go along, and then I'll show you my ideas for my focal points. For this background so far, I've torn papers, I've added them with Mod Podge, some book text going different directions, little scraps of paper. I brayered on some light pink paint. Now I'm using some lime green, and I'm going from this card. So this is from my color cubes. I've talked about this in the past. These are the Sarah Renae color cubes, and they're in a sense, it's like getting the help of a color wheel, only you select a card and then you use those colors on the card. It gives you a nice layout of things that go together. So it works great for people who have a hard time selecting colors. For me, I mean, I don't have too much trouble, but I love these cards because I like that I know I wanted to use a pink and a lime green, and now I have some options to go with it. I would have never thought of this mauve pink or this purple. This is kind of a deeper purple, almost a wine. This is a aqua color, and then this really bright color here is like a brighter version of a salmon red. Let's see, they're calling it imperial red. And here are the tones of the colors. The colors are listed on the back. So these are the colors I'm going to use with stenciling and brayering and sponging all over the background to make a really fun and wild background. And then what I'm going to do is take one of these colors, and that's going to be the solid color that I'm going to paint the heart. I'll leave a link in the description box below and a link to the video for my unboxing of the Sarah Renae Clark color cubes, how I use them in a project, how I like to use them, and then a link that if you go onto Sarah Renae Clark's website, I get a little bonus if you do purchase either the ebook version or the color cube version or both. I get a little bonus for that as being an affiliate for her. So check them out because you might really enjoy them, and especially if you have trouble selecting colors when you're doing an art project. So I used all those colors within the color card. I really like it. I love the wild, crazy background. And I had this cool scrapbook paper with these beautiful hearts. So I cut out a bunch of the hearts, and I used matte gel medium to put them down on the page. It's going to go perfect with this layout idea that I have. So now I think what I'm going to do for the heart itself, I was going to do it in a pink color. I may even go with black, but I'm not sure. I'm going to decide a color, and I'm going to paint this heart. And as you can see, I've painted the heart black. Some people would say, why a black heart? Oof. But for what I'm going to do, it's going to make the other Julie Nutting Girl really pop off the page, and then it's going to add to the element that I'm going to add to this. It's going to be so fun. I can't wait to show you. So now I need to do this side as well, and this side's going to be a little bit different. It's probably going to be one of the colors that's in the background from the Sarah Renae Clark Color Cube card. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll keep working and I'll show you as I go along. For layering little Miss Madeline here, she is so cute. I love her. This obviously is going to be for her skin tone body. I'm going to use this little tiny heart print that I used in the background. It's going to be her jacket. This pretty pattern paper is going to be her skirt. Then her hair, I love that it's black, but I don't want it black on black because she's going to go right here. So I'm going to make her hair probably blonde. And then I'm going to do her little hat and make the little tails and things match her little dress. So I'm going to work on her a little bit. I think with her shoes, I'll probably use some embossing powder, some pigmented ink, and some black embossing powder and a heat tool to emboss her little shoes and make them super shiny. So I'm going to just play around and then I'll show you what she looks like. Here's how my page is going. Hope you like it. It's going to be so cute. For this doll, I used some pop-up tape and made this little piece extra. I had the ruffle from when I stamped this dress and I used it underneath this dress. So it added a cute fancy ruffle underneath. I added some little pearls to her jacket. I did her hair dimensional like the other one. And so here's how it's coming along. I added some little itty bitty tiny pearls to her dress. And so I'm still working on it, but here is what I've done. So I took a piece of cardstock and I pulled up a reference photo of an old hat rack. And I just drew it with pencil on the cardstock and cut it out, colored it with some colored pencil and some alcohol markers. I also drew out the words hats and cut that out. That was just on cardstock too. I colored it and cut it out and added a couple hats to it. And then on this side of the heart, what I've done, I decorated the background like I did this background. I added the girl again. So what I did was I made it her twice. And the reason I did that is I wanted to lay this down and I wanted to have it when it's in place like this. I wanted the girl to show like this. So she shows when the heart is closed. And I cut out of the same material as her jacket and the material I used in the background. I cut out an eye and a heart. I stamped the word love. And so then it's going to be I love hats like this. Isn't this going to be so super cute? Now let me show you what else. I'm going to put this down and put it in place. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a self-healing mat behind it. And I'm going to take a paper piercer and I'm going to pierce through both this heavy piece and this piece together. Along this edge, I want to do, I believe, 5. I'm going to do 5 holes. So I want to make sure that it goes through both layers. So 1, 2, let's put one right here. 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so I've got my holes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these jump rings. These are 7mm jump rings. I'm going to use pliers to put them apart, and I'm going to put the jump rings into place to hold this flippable heart with jump rings. So there's what it looks like with the jump rings in place. And yes, you'll have to be careful because you don't want to tear through this. If it does tear, you could always put like black Stuyvec tape on it, but I'm just going to be careful of it, and it was going to work absolutely fine. So how I got the idea for this page is this one. Little Miss Madeline has a hat, and I love her little hat. So here is her hat, and you cut a slit in it and you slip it onto her head. I did put a silk ribbon bow on it. So when I flip this page, so I've got I love hats, and when I flip this page, her hat is not glued down in the back, and that is so that I can place the hat on her head like that. And then what I've done is I've made other hats that go on her head. So I made this cute hat, and I made a crown with gems and gold and silver paint. So those are going to go. I didn't glue down the tips of the hat rack so that the hats can be on the hat rack on this side. So here's the hats on the hat rack. She's got the cute little hat on her head like this. How cute is that? It's so cute. I love this. And so what I can do is I can take this hat off. I can put the crown on her head. I can put this hat on the hat rack like this. So that's what I did for that one. For the girl on this side, what I'm going to do, I have other hats for her. So I've got this cute hat with flowers, and I put some tulle on it to have some netting in the front. I've got a stocking cap with a fuzzy top. I've got a cute hat with a bow. We've got a top hat, a Victorian hat, and this cute hat. So all these hats, I used rubber stamps. So these are rubber stamps. This is a 2004 Stampin' Up! Rubber stamp set for hats. I also used some hats that were clip art. So there's just a lot of places that you could get hats to use. And what I'm going to do for this side is I'm going to take these. These are Velcro hook and loop stick-on Velcro dots, and I'm going to take one and I'm going to cut it into quarters, so that'll be for 4 of them, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with it. And I've put a little piece of one of the loop sides. I used a white one over there so it wouldn't show too terribly much. On the back of each hat, I put a quarter of it in the hook side, so each hat has a piece of the hook side. On this side of the heart, I've put the loop side of the dots. I'm going to let all that completely dry, and then when it's done, all the hats are going to be displayed over here, and you'll be able to take a hat off and put each one on her head. So I'll show you that when it's all dry. Here's my completed page, and I absolutely love it. I hope you do too. So look at that cute background with lots of book text and papers, colors that were based on the Sarah Renae Clark color cube card that I chose. It's 185 is the one that I chose, and these are the colors that I used for this layout. And then it turned out so cute, so bright and colorful. I love it. I love using these cards. It's so much fun. And here's the fun background with lots of the color paints, papers, the Julie Nutting dolls that I layered, and then this cute heart. So here's my I love heart, and then when you flip it open, I love hats. And then there's the girl with her hat and the hat rack, and then all these extra hats over here. So it's interactive. So what you do is just take the hat off the girl and choose another hat from the hat rack, put it on her, put the other hat back on the hat rack. So how cute is that? And then these hats over here all can be used on this girl over here. So you just take a hat and put it on her head. And it's got Velcro, so look at that. How cute is that? Take the hat, put it back on the little hat selector over here, and try on another hat. So let's try on this one that has tulle and flowers with some net in front of it. So she can just try on all her different hats. How about a top hat? Isn't that cute? I love it. So, I love hats. It's fun dressing up the girls in different hats. And then having the heart over here, the flip heart be... Look how cute that is. Oh my gosh, I love it. And then this flip heart is the place where the hats get stored. And then it closes. So that's why I wanted to make this page a little bit, made some space in that gutter so that this thick page won't impede or make this book be too gaitered. In fact, it doesn't at all. And it looks really cute. So you open to this page and you see the cute heart with the girls. And it's I love hats. So there you go. There's another fun idea of what to do with your Julie Nutting paper dolls. Another project for our altered book. Another idea, having this flip heart with the jump rings. And using the book pages to make the heart. Super fun, super cute. So I hope you're having a good time. This was a great one. I enjoyed this very much, and I hope you did too. So thanks for stopping by. Until the next episode of the Julie Nutting Paper Doll Altered Book Series. So go make some art, because art soothes the heart.